In the 1950s, Russian expansion and aggression threatened global war. The prospect of a nuclear conflict was real and terrifying. The U.S. military calculated the probable effect of an attack on America and planned accordingly. If a bomb was dropped on Washington, hundreds of thousands of people would immediately be vaporized. Lethal radiation would spread across hundreds of square miles. In readiness, the government started stockpiling food rations and building fallout shelters for the general population. But in a far more ambitious and top-secret program, they also began to construct a series of bunkers. If the Third World War started, the government would carry on. Lorton Correctional Complex, 20 miles from Washington. In 1959, the basement of a building here was transformed into a top-secret operations center. The secure nature of the 3,000-acre site provided the perfect camouflage for covert work. The whole area has been abandoned since 2001. It was only when historian Gary Powers explored it a few months ago that he discovered a Cold War bunker with a vital national purpose. By examining the evidence and exploring the site, our investigators have been able to build a picture of what this bunker looked like when it became operational. It remained hidden beneath the jail in a state of constant preparedness for 40 years. The technology it contained was state-of-the-art in 1959. It quickly became obsolete, but nonetheless, the Lorton bunker was only decommissioned in 2001. This facility was aimed at offering a first response to an emergency, but plans were in place to ensure the long-term survival of the government. In the same year as the Lorton bunker came online, construction began on a facility designed to hold 1,200 people. In a time of war, this would be the home of the U.S. Congress. In 1955, President Eisenhower decreed that a relocation facility was needed so that Congress could still function in the event that Washington was bombed. In an extraordinary move, it was decided to construct a bunker at White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, underneath the exclusive Greenbrier Resort. 5 hours from Washington, it was once a favorite haunt of Hollywood stars and English royals. But the plan was that it would also be ready at a moment's notice to take the place of the Capitol building. It would keep the government machine working. In 1959, a deal was made with the resort owners. The government would fund the construction of a new wing to the hotel. And at the same time, in secret, they would construct a bunker. In peacetime, parts of the facility would be accessible to hotel guests, unaware of the hidden purpose of the rooms through which they were passing. But when the alert was sounded, a network of doors would swing shut to create a hermetically sealed place of refuge. 25 tons of reinforced steel, built to withstand anything but a direct hit. For 30 years, high-paying hotel guests strolled straight past, unsuspecting.
Here we have that massive blast door that was hidden behind the false wall.
This was one of 3 hidden blast doors protecting entrances to the bunker. The other 2 opened directly to the outside world. Chris Carroll has come to the West Tunnel entrance. Throughout the time that the facility was active, it was disguised as a service door. But again, behind this facade is a huge piece of toughened steel.
So here we have one of the main entrances to the bunker, which is protected by this 25-ton blast door. And what the blast door does is it's able to withstand a blast pressure from a nuclear bomb up to 20 miles away. And what you may notice is it's kind of hard to get started, but it's remarkably easy to move once you do get started with it.
This blast door is perfectly balanced on hinges, weighing an incredible 1 ton each to allow for easy movement. The door is specially designed to absorb the powerful and destructive shock wave caused by a nuclear bomb. It works like the door of a bank vault. It's made from steel strengthened with concrete. In the event of a blast, it would bend and absorb the shock wave. As the wave passed, it would spring back into shape. The bunker was only safe if it could withstand this initial force. The only way that this facility could have been built on this scale and in secret was by integrating its design into the hotel. This was effectively the bunker's lobby, but doubled as the hotel's exhibition hall. Over the years, thousands of people attended conferences and trade shows here. When the warning of an impending attack was given, this 16,000 square foot conference room would have been shut off from the hotel and transformed into workspace for congressional aides. Chris Carroll wants to see what he can uncover.
What we can see here is this wall is actually approximately 4 feet thick. A typical two-story buildings may only have walls anywhere from 1 foot to 2 feet thick. And so here you can see the magnitude of this structure and how amazing it really is.
To build on this scale in secret was an extraordinary achievement. To investigate what he's seen at the Greenbrier, Chris has built a model bunker at his Virginia Tech lab. He wants to demonstrate how the concrete used in the bunker was reinforced to withstand the huge blast pressure from a nuclear bomb.
And what we've done here is we've built a small-scale bunker again that is 6 feet long, it is 5 feet wide, and 5 feet tall.
Chris wants to see how concrete reacts when subjected to extreme stress.
If you had a concrete beam and you bend it like this, the top part of the beam is in compression, the bottom part is in tension. But concrete, if it's bent like this, would actually crack on the bottom.
Because of this, ordinary concrete is brittle, a poor material to insulate against a bomb. To give concrete extra strength and durability, builders reinforce it with steel rods known as rebar.
So here you can see just an example of reinforcing steel that we've placed inside the walls and the ceiling slab of this bunker. In actual bunkers throughout the United States, you may see rebar in the ranges of this, maybe even bigger.
Chris wants to find out how much reinforced concrete is needed to protect structures like the Greenbrier bunker from nuclear attack.
Typically, blast pressures from atomic bombs detonated, say, 20 miles away from here would actually act on the side of a bunker, not really on top of it, because if you did, it would actually destroy the bunker itself. But in order to simulate this type of a load, what we're going to do is we're going to take this 3,000-pound wrecking ball and we're going to drop it on top of the bunker.
The wrecking ball is first dropped from a height of 6 inches onto the bunker's 5-inch thick reinforced concrete roof. That's equivalent to nearly 14 pounds of blast force per square inch, roughly comparable to being within a quarter mile of a bomb as powerful as the one dropped on Hiroshima. The structure holds.
A little higher? Yeah, a little higher. We got a crack, but you can't see it yet.
The ball is now lifted to 12 inches to double the blast pressure. Again, the bunker holds, but only just. The damage it has sustained would have been roughly equivalent to being only 350 yards from Hiroshima's ground zero. Ordinary concrete and almost all other building materials would have disintegrated. But although the bunker has survived, it has reached what engineers call its ultimate load.
As you can see, we've got some cracks here. Actually, we have a circular crack on the top, all the way through. So what that means is we actually had tension around the outside edges, which is typical in a slab. So you got tension on the top as well. You got cracks down each side of the wall. Had we not put reinforcing steel in the bunker would have actually fallen apart in multiple places.
Chris's simulation gives us an idea of how strong the walls of the Greenbrier bunker were. They had to be. In the same year as the bunker was finished, the Soviet Union tested a bomb at least 3,000 times as powerful as the one that was dropped on Hiroshima. Even at more than 250 miles from Washington, D.C., the likely center of a blast, the Greenbrier would have had to withstand enormous pressure. And now we can reveal how. 10,000 tons of earth were excavated. Then, 720 feet into the hillside, the 2-story bunker was constructed. Made from reinforced concrete, it covered 112,000 square feet. A 50-foot layer of earth sat between the top of the bunker and the hotel above. Next, we investigate how the bunker was kept fully equipped, on alert, and totally secret for more than 3 decades until one journalist blew its cover and compromised it forever.
Well, the idea is that you had to have everything here, be prepared for whatever might happen. So you had to have everything in place and ready to go, and that included medical facilities. So there was a 12-bed clinic here. They could do surgery. There was a dental unit. There was an intensive care unit. Because people could have been injured on the way down. People would arrive with pre-existing conditions. So you had to have a fully stocked pharmacy. All of that was on hand. All that was rotated and kept up to date for 30 years.
At a time when the fundamental institutions of the state were under immense strain, guaranteeing security and order was a priority. The bunker had its own armory. But the bunker's job wasn't just to keep its occupants safe. They had to be able to carry on the business of running the country. There was a communication studio, state-of-the-art when it was constructed, and the means to broadcast across the world. This ability to send and receive messages was vital. Chris wants to know how TV signals from the sealed bunker would reach the outside.
So where exactly are we here, and what was this facility used for?
We're on top of Cates Mountain. The Greenbrier and the entrance into the bunker itself is about 4.5 to 5 miles behind where I'm standing. And there's a blockhouse behind us with a 100-foot tower. And off that tower are signal gathering devices. This was a microwave relay facility. This tower was extremely important because, again, it allowed us, once we went into a buttoned-up condition, to talk to the outside world.
Now, nearly 2 decades later, we can recreate what it looked like on completion in 1961. Covering 112,000 feet, it was equipped for every eventuality. Its kitchen had a 60-day stockpile of provisions for 1,100 people. There were 18 dormitories, each sleeping 60 individuals. Its clinic could handle anything from simple medical emergencies to major surgery. And a state-of-the-art communication studio meant that the people sealed in here could still speak to millions of Americans. But most important was that Congress could continue to function even in extreme circumstances. And so this replacement for Congress was built, a testament to the belief that the consequences of any attack could be faced, endured, and overcome. Today, its secret well known, the hotel continues to welcome guests, and yet a large part of the bunker is still off limits, as it was during the Cold War, and used as a secure data storage facility. Next, in Colorado, we investigate a facility built to withstand a direct hit from a nuclear bomb. Now historian Beverly Gage has come to one of America's last great wildernesses, where beneath these granite peaks is hidden a highly secure bunker built thousands of feet below ground level and able to survive a nuclear attack. She's gained access to this secure military facility under Cheyenne Mountain, which today is no longer operational. In 1961, in response to the growing Soviet threat and at a cost of $140 million, a plan was conceived to build a highly classified bunker a few miles from Colorado Springs. Its purpose, to monitor the skies for ballistic missiles approaching U.S. airspace, and to create a strategic defense plan to prevent the unthinkable from happening. Major Tom Veal is showing Beverly around this complex.
Well, we just came in through what we call the North Portal, and we're going to walk 1/3 of a mile to the blast doors. Now, overhead, we have 2,400 feet of granite that goes to the top of Cheyenne Mountain.
This granite protection was crucial to the planning behind this bunker. It would be built to withstand a direct hit from a bomb as powerful as the one that was dropped on Hiroshima. In 1961, construction on Cheyenne Mountain began. A series of access tunnels, each over a mile long, were bored into the mountain. To house the bunker complex, the engineers removed millions of tons of granite. They excavated chambers covering 4.5 acres and up to 60 feet tall. The entrance to the bunker complex itself was protected by a series of 25-ton blast doors. They were last closed on 9/11, and once shut, they can cut the bunker off completely from the outside world. Beyond the blast doors, the top-secret buildings housing the missile detection technology are situated in a vast hollowed-out space right in the center of the mountain. We can reveal how the engineers designed the bunker buildings to sit separately from the mountain rock, only connected at floor level. This ensures that in the event of a direct hit, the impact of the shock waves on the bunker would be minimized. Another measure was put in place to reduce the effect of shock waves.
Right now we're underneath Building 1, underneath the main entrance to the complex. There are 15 buildings inside the complex, and they're all supported by these springs. They weigh 1,000 pounds each, and there are 1,319 of them that hold the buildings up.
In the event of a blast, these massive springs, placed under every bunker structure, would enable each of the buildings to move up and down independently, absorbing the shock waves and sustaining minimal damage.
And they allow the buildings to bob and sway up to 1 foot in any direction. Now each building is independently supported. They don't touch each other and they don't touch the rock, and they're connected by metal bridges and vinyl vestibules, so that if one should shear away or be crushed, it won't affect the operations from building to building.
All of these engineering innovations, the springs, the blast doors, placing a bunker inside a mountain, were devised to protect this, mission control.
Actually, what we do is we fuse and disseminate information, and that would in turn go to the National Command Authorities of the United States and Canada. They're the ones who decide when to use weapons.
Radar sources across the world can send in data about any object in any airspace. Supercomputers here can track and analyze everything from an incoming ballistic missile to an unexplained aircraft. And in the event of a crisis, they can run their own missions, sending out a defensive strike force.
The United States and Canada had 20 fighter aircraft on standby to fly NORAD missions. So if there were to be a penetration of our air defense identification zone, the order to scramble those jets would be coordinated through Cheyenne.
The bunker's role at Cheyenne Mountain was to guarantee U.S. air sovereignty, and it was vital that this facility was kept operational at all costs. We can now show the extraordinary engineering behind this stronghold, revealing how it was built to withstand a direct nuclear strike from a device with the destructive force of the Hiroshima bomb. This is the supreme example of Cold War bunker technology. It's proof of the lengths the U.S. was prepared to go to in the interests of national security.